Hello, my name is Matt Argo, and this is a tutorial for my cover of Poor Wayfaring Stranger on the ukulele. If you haven't seen my cover, you can click up there to watch the video. There will also be a link for that down in the description below. And there will also be a chord sheet with chords, lyrics, and chord diagrams that I made. And there's a link for that down in the description below as well that you can download for free. This is going to be a pretty basic tutorial. I'm just kind of going to go over the chords and a little bit of the technique of how I play the song. And before we get started, I will say I play this with a low G tuning, and it's kind of important for the style that I play with these bass notes, kind of alternating bass. And so I definitely recommend that if you're going to play that in this style. If you don't have a high G, you know, you can, there's still the chords, there's still the lyrics, you can still play the song, find a way to play it, you know, however you decide to do that. But if you want to play it the way I do, I definitely recommend getting a low G on your uke. So we're going to start out by going over the first chord, which is C sharp minor. And you're going to take your first finger, put it on the first fret of the 4th string or G string. You're going to take your second finger, put it on the first fret of the C string or 3rd string. And then your pinky, stretch up to the 4th fret on the 1st string. So 1, 1, 0, 4. And that is a bit of a stretch if you haven't played it before. It can be a bit of a tricky chord. But it's really kind of important in order to get those good bass notes for the chord. So when I play this, I'm basically plucking a bass note, 1 string, and then the rest of the chord. So I start by plucking that first fret, 3rd string, and then the 2 strings above that after it. Then I alternate. The next bass note is the 1st fret of the 4th string, and then play those 2 notes again, and you're kind of going back and forth evenly like that to start with. And in the beginning of the song, I just pluck the strings with my fingers. And you can just kind of assign 1 finger to each string so that you're going, you know, something like that. That gives it kind of a softer sound. But when I get into the second verse, I actually start strumming it, the chord down with my fingernail, and that gives it sort of a louder, harsher sound. And then I might just mute it with my hand to make it staccato. But you can play it, you know, the same way the whole song, plucking or strumming, you know, however you want to do it. This is just how I play the song. So you're starting out, again, that 3rd string or C string, pluck, G string, pluck, C string, pluck. But then the second time through, when you go to that G string or 4th string, you play it quickly, just 1/8 note after, pluck the top 2 strings. So before you're just going 1 beat, now you're going more quickly. And then you're going to jump up with one of your fingers to the 4th fret of that 4th string. So you're playing this kind of bass line, walking up to, back to the 3rd string. So just the bass sounds like this. But then when you put in the chord in between those notes, hopefully that makes sense. And that's kind of the gist of it. I play through that whole pattern once, and then a second time in the intro, but then I repeat that walking bass line. So and then strum the whole chord kind of staccato, and then there's just a rest, and then you get into singing the first verse. So you just kind of continue that pattern in the first line of the verse. You know, I am a poor wayfaring stranger, and then you just keep playing that pattern, and then you get to the next chord, F sharp minor. F sharp minor, you're going to take your first finger on the first fret of the third string, second finger, second fret of the fourth string, third finger, second fret of the second string, and then that first string remains open, so it's 2, 1, 2, 0. If you know G7, you can. It's that same shape. You just move all your fingers over one string. That's F sharp minor. And when I get to F sharp minor, I'm not doing that alternating bass pattern, that pluck, strum, or anything like that. I'm just strumming. And I don't have a specific strumming pattern for you. You know, this is just kind of a basic overview of the song. But you strum that for a while, and then you get back to. And then you just kind of repeat that again with the second line, but when you get to the end, you get to that F sharp minor again, the last beat, or 2 beats, you go to a third chord, which is G sharp 7. And to play this chord, you're going to take your first finger, first fret of the fourth string, second finger, second fret of the second string, third finger, third fret of the third string, and fourth finger, third fret of the first string. So that ends up being 1, 3, 2, 3. And you just kind of play that. I just kind of strum it twice, and then mute the strings to give it that staccato sound, and again another rest before heading into the chorus. So it would sound, you know, as you're heading into that F sharp minor, sounds like that, and then get into that G sharp 7. Back to the C sharp, just for a little bit, and then we get into the chorus, starting with the chord A. It's a pretty basic chord. It's likely you know it, but if you don't, it's just like the F sharp minor. Except you don't need that third finger. Just lift it up and leave that second string open. So it's 2, 1, 0, 0. And then you go to E. That's first finger, second fret of the first string. Second finger, reach over to the fourth string, fourth fret. Third finger, fourth string. Third finger, third string, fourth fret. And the fourth finger, second string, fourth fret. So 4, 4, 4, 2. And, you know, that's also kind of a tricky chord if you haven't played it before. It can be tricky to get it right so you get a nice clean sound, and especially transitioning from one chord to another. But, you know, you just kind of got to keep practicing it. So, A to E, and then it goes back to that G sharp minor, and then you end up coming back to that C sharp minor and that picking pattern. All those other chords in the chorus, and you just strum. Just like in the verse with that F sharp minor and then the G sharp 7. So that's pretty much the pattern that runs through the verse and chorus. You're going to repeat that with verse 2 and with verse 3, and it goes verse 3 chorus and then another chorus, and then the outro is just playing that pattern again a couple times, and then at the end of the song you can just end with a nice open strum of that C sharp minor. So like I said, this is just kind of an overview of how I play it. You know, I gave you the gist of the basic pattern of that pluck strum kind of sort of thing with the C sharp minor. Hopefully by listening to it you can figure out you know, when I play it, how many times I play it, you know, what parts of the verses and choruses and interludes. I'm not going to go over line by line in this tutorial or anything like that. But that's pretty much the whole song. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, if you want to go back and listen to my cover of this, the link is still down in the description below to that video, and it'll also show up on this end screen. And if you haven't gotten the chord sheet yet, that link is also down in the description below. And if you liked this, if it was helpful, if you want to see more videos like this, more covers, more tutorials, please consider subscribing. And that's it.